Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. That means no matter where you are in the world, I'm talking to you. You know, I'm just sitting here and I can't believe that people who are truly blood-bought believers, blood-bought saints of the Most High are still celebrating Christmas. I mean, think about it. Christmas in comparison to Yeshua HaMashiach, there is nothing about Christmas that has to do with Christ at all. Nothing at all. And yet we celebrate it blindly, not understanding that it is actually the worship of a sun god called Mithra and a couple other sun gods. The crazy thing is Christmas wasn't even a part of the church until the Roman Empire introduced it through Constantine, who was all about replacing holy days with holidays and getting rid of the worship of the Most High and honoring his feast. However, this didn't happen until around 336 AD, 300 plus years after the death, burial, and resurrection of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, to the known world, that are not fully understanding the revelation of his name. However, I'm not going to get into that. And then here in America, it really wasn't introduced or celebrated until 1870, almost 100 years after we won our independence. The reason why we weren't celebrating is because those who came from Europe at the time came supposedly because they were protesting Catholicism. We've called them the Protestants. And so it was not celebrated here in America to 1870. Well, how did it get around the world? Of course, we know that nations were colonized by Europe, and those things were introduced to those cultures or those nations that were colonized and became commonwealths. So, I mean, the truth of the matter is nothing about Christmas has to do with the birth of Christ. The Christmas tree doesn't. Bible tells us many times throughout scripture not to worship in front of a fern tree. Jeremiah 10:1 talks about not learning the ways of the heathen. And if you read on, it will describe the solace or the solace, however you pronounce it. I always mess that up. And it will talk about the actual tree and how it's fastened in place and decked with silver and gold, for us to not learn the ways of the heathen. And understand, Christ didn't come to do away with the law. He came to fulfill it. And so everything about his birth, death, burial, and resurrection is consistent with the feast in scripture and the holy days. So, you're still celebrating Christmas, really? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I understand it because you love your parties, you love your feasts. But if you are a true blood-bought believer, true saint of the Most High, you wouldn't even waste your time celebrating the materialism and commercialism of Christmas that people use to get rich off the back of people that are supposed to be believers. Church, we got to shut it down. No more pagan worship. Hey, I love you. Just letting you know, there's no Christmas for me. But there is a life daily with Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. Hey, I love you. Until next time, blessings.